Hey! It's me, Gemma. Welcome back to the Cupcake Jemma channel. I really appreciate you being here with me, especially if you are a subscriber, if you are one of our gang. If you're not yet, then it doesn't cost you anything. Just click the subscribe button and also, why not hit the alarm bell button so you get notified every time we drop a recipe. Be in our gang, guys. It's a really fun community of bakers. Bakers are the nicest people ever. You'll see in the comment section, everyone helps each other out when people have got a question. So yeah, if you're one of those people, we love you. And if you want to be one of those people, just subscribe, guys. I know that a lot of you absolutely do love a project, and so many of our recipes on the channel and in the book are like full on. There's 8 different elements. There's like bits and bobs. It takes a million years. But I just thought that some of you out there might want something a little bit more simple. You know, the kind of thing you can just like whip up, if you will, in like under an hour, probably. I haven't actually timed it, but I think it's under an hour. So I'm going to be making one of my most favourite confections, and it's fudge. I love fudge. I remember getting a finger of fudge at school in my packed lunch. I don't know if any of you remember the song. A finger of fudge is just enough to give your kids a treat. And they were 15p back in the day, and they're probably not anymore. But anyway, I love fudge, but I'm a bit picky with it. I'm not a big fan of the really crumbly, dry stuff that you sometimes get in like, you know, the National Trust shops. No shade. But the good news is, however you like your fudge, it's actually really, really easy to achieve it. And I'm going to show you how. So join me in my fudge world. Simple, simple, simple. The first thing I need to do is line a tray. Now I'm going to be using this tray here. It's roughly 24 centimeters by 16 centimeters. Just use something similar to that. If you want a thinner fudge, then it doesn't matter, you just use a bigger tray. And I'm going to spray that with my trusty cake release spray first of all. Then I have a piece of greaseproof paper just slightly bigger than the tray, and I'm pushing it into the corners, making sure it's really well covered. Now don't worry too much if you've got creases on the sides. I'll tell you why later. It's going to make for a bit of a little treat for you. But that's my tray lined. Put that to one side. Now, I did say this was a simple recipe, and it literally is the easiest thing in the world. You just need to have a thermometer because it does need to get to a very specific temperature, but all the ingredients go into a pan. So I've got 330 grams of Demerara sugar, that's the granulated brown sugar. I've also got 120 grams of light soft brown sugar. And then I'm putting in 400 grams of condensed milk, that's basically a can of condensed milk, 150 grams of milk, 120 grams of unsalted butter, a teaspoon of good quality vanilla extract, and then finish with a generous pinch of sea salt to bring out all the lovely flavors, and that is all the ingredients. Like, it's too easy, guys. Now we just need to cook it. So I'm gonna set my hob over a medium-low heat. It's going to start to melt a little bit, and once it starts to melt, you want to get a heat-proof spatula in there, or your wooden spoon if that's what you're using, and start stirring, because this needs to be stirred constantly. I have my sugar thermometer clipped on the inside of my pan just to keep a constant eye on the temperature, but if you're using a probe thermometer, you don't need to stick it in there until it starts to bubble, really, because otherwise you're going to be getting your probe in and out, in and out. It's going to be really annoying. The temperature we're looking for is somewhere between 113 and 115. Any lower or any higher, and it's just not going to be the perfect texture. So you really want to keep a close eye on the temperature. Now it's going to bubble away, and you're going to keep stirring it all the time, and it will take anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes of stirring and heating constantly. Right, it's hit 115, so I've turned off the heat and it's bubbling away, and I'm just going to let it sort of sit for a bit, give it a stir every now and then, and just until those bubbles subside completely. I'll get rid of you. Oh, you're going to be messy. And I have my stand mixer ready, because now it's time to beat this lot into shape, because fudge requires a bit of beating. And the best bit about this is, if you want a crumblier, drier fudge, then you just need to beat it for a bit longer. I prefer mine, as you know, a little bit softer and chewier. So I'm going to do mine for about 2 or 3 minutes, but anywhere between 2 to 8 minutes is just right. So just pour all of that in. Be careful because it is very hot. So when you've got all of your fudge out, and no one's burned themselves, whack your paddle attachment on, or if you're just using what's it called? Hand mixer, or even your wooden spoon, you want to beat this on a low, medium speed. Obviously not too high, otherwise it might, hot fudge might just fly out into your face, which is absolutely not ideal. So I'm just going to let that go around, and that's just going to sort of agitate all the sugar, and I don't really know what the magic is that happens, but what happens is what is now a translucent-ish mixture will start to become a little bit more opaque. And as I said, if you like yours a bit softer, as soon as it starts to do that, stop mixing. Here we go. And that is how I like it. As you can see, it's sort of gone a little bit more pale in colour. It started to go this kind of slightly thicker consistency. And like I said, a little bit more opaque to how it was before. But again, it's completely up to you. If you did it for not very long, it would just be like a nice chewy caramel. And if you did it for longer, it would be like that crumbly fudge that some people really like, just not me. So now you want to grab your prepared tray and just dump all of that. And don't forget, this is still really hot, so please be careful. I can feel the heat actually coming out of the bowl, giving me a sort of mini facial, which, I'm all for it. And then use your spatula just to press it and tease it into all the edges and corners. It's not really a spreading kind of affair, because as you can see, it will pull every which way, but just kind of smush it, if you will. And now it is a nice even layer, still really hot, so you want to just leave that at room temperature just to cool down completely before eating it. But lucky for you, and for me, frankly, I made one earlier, just like Blue Peter, and here it is. Now, it has been sitting at room temperature for, actually it cooled and solidified within about half an hour, but this has been hanging around for about 2 hours. It's just right. And remember, I told you it didn't matter about those creasy, grease-proof, papery bits, because what happens then is you can neaten it out and you can make these bits the first bits that you get to eat. Hi. A little nibble. Mmm. Yummy. This is absolutely the perfect, it's my favourite fudge. I'm saying it, I'm putting it out there. It's my favourite fudge that I've ever eaten, even more than a finger of fudge that you get from the shops, which I do love. Creamy, slightly salty, just the right amount of softness and chew, just the right amount of bite. Oh, I love it, and really vanilla-y as well, which I love. So you could cut this into little pieces, you can wrap them in paper, give them to your friends if you're feeling generous. Or you can just sort of put them in an airtight container for emergencies, which is what I'll be doing. And actually they keep really, really well in airtight containers. I've had one in the kitchen over there that I tested this recipe with about a month ago, and I'm still nibbling on it and it's still good. So at least a month, guys. Just don't put them in the fridge because it will draw moisture out, get them all sticky and sweaty, and nobody wants a sweaty bit of fudge. Trust me, that is disgusting. Well, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please give it a go. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up on the little thumbs up thing down there. Also, why not share it? Drop someone a hint. Maybe you want to have someone else make fudge for you, like a present. So maybe just share this video with someone who is handsy and likes, making things for other people. Maybe you'll get lucky one day. I'll be back next week and I will be using this very fudge. So this was a simple recipe, but next week I'm going to make it a little bit more complicated for you, and when I'm going to recreate one of my absolute all-time kids' favourite ice cream flavours that I used to love in the 80s. So if you're a child of the 80s, have a guess at what that might be. It was available in all good supermarkets in the UK and it had a really catchy tune on the advert. That's the clues. I'm not going to give you any more clues, but I'm going to be making that ice cream next week. So make sure you have made some fudge in preparation. So I'll see you then. Lots of love.